At $30 US, the PICTEK mechanical keyboard has a lot in common with the HC-Man keyboard I reviewed 3 years ago. I like that keyboard, which meant that I also liked my time with the PICTEK. But make no mistake, to achieve this $30 price tag with true mechanical switches did result in some compromises and cut corners. So let's discuss what they are, if they matter, and whether or not you should even care. And before I jump into it, let me tell you that no, you do not need a full-size keyboard. You don't. Trust me. What you do need is extra mouse space, and if you're an accountant and really need more buttons, then you can get an external numpad that you can place anywhere for just $10 extra. But rant aside, let's jump in. The part most of you are probably interested in is how these budget mechanical switches perform when compared against genuine ones. And make no mistake, there is a difference. The best way I can describe it is that the PICTEK just genuinely feels cheaper. The tolerances on the knockoff switches are inferior, making them feel wobblier, require more force to activate, and have a clunkier feel. But this was all in typing and direct comparisons. When I was gaming, any difference was hardly noticeable. Consistency between the switches was decent, and all of the switches more or less felt the same to me, which I was not expecting actually, and for the sake of completion, here's a quick sound comparison between genuine switches and these knockoff ones. But there is significantly more that goes into a keyboard than just the switches, the build quality being the biggest one, and something that is near impossible to judge based on an Amazon listing. And well, if you expected any metal here, you will be sorely disappointed. All you get here is hollow black painted plastic. To say this keyboard feels light is an understatement. As a result, the rigidity certainly suffers. I've never seen a mechanical keyboard twist and flex so much as the PICTEK keyboard did. Even moderate pressure when gaming can deform it slightly, and it was also light enough that I would occasionally push it around the desk while in use. Before I used this keyboard, I didn't realize just how much the build quality contributed to the overall experience of using a keyboard, but here the incredibly cheap build quality honestly did detract from the experience of typing and gaming. Now, if you're already coming from a cheap plastic keyboard, then this will likely still be an upgrade for you, but it is a downgrade from any other mechanical keyboard I have personally used. On the back, you get 2 feet to prop the keyboard up, and on top is where the disappointingly cheap plastic USB cable comes out in the center. I mean, come on, even the $10 Version Tech mouse had a braided cable. And on the front, the keycaps are light and pretty bog standard, and feature a slightly stylized typeface that isn't exactly professional, but also wasn't distracting. Finally, the white secondary function text on the keys could occasionally be difficult to read, but I wasn't using them very often. Secondary functions that primarily control what the backlighting does. The colors are unfortunately how they are, but there are 3 levels of brightness, as well as off, and 5 different effects. Breathing, ripple, spiral mode, a wave effect, and a crisscross line mode. Each of the modes can also have its speed adjusted to up to 5 different speeds. Additionally, the keyboard also plays the spiral mode animation whenever the keyboard's plugged in, which... okay. Finally, there are 3 custom static profiles to assign which keys to be lit, as well as preset modes for common RTS keys, WASD and arrow keys, and all of the letter keys. Due to the nature of my setup, I ended up switching frequently back and forth between this keyboard and my And Pro 2, which costs nearly 4 times as much. But I was always quickly able to get back up to speed on the PICTEK, and once gaming, the fact that I was using a budget keyboard mostly faded into the background. Is this keyboard perfect? Certainly not. It's lightweight and cheap feeling, but this is a good budget option. And no matter what you're using your computer for, gaming, typing, browsing, getting a true mechanical keyboard at all will immensely improve your computing experience if you're coming from something non-mechanical. I wholeheartedly recommend this keyboard, and certainly recommend this keyboard if you're comparing it against a non-mechanical gaming keyboard, something which I made a whole video about up there. But also, if you can spare $10 more, the Keychron C1 grants you a better build, cleaner aesthetic, a choice between key switches, nicer keycaps, a detachable USB cable, and all from an acclaimed keyboard company. And I would urge anyone considering the PICTEK keyboard to also give the Keychron a look. But regardless, I think a lot of young and old budget gamers out there would enjoy both. Special bonus tidbit for those of you that stayed past the conclusion, I tried to keep comparisons between the PICTEK and the HC-Man keyboard minimal in this video. These keyboards literally have the same chassis design. They have the same like sticker thing on the back. So I suspect that these are both the exact same OEM keyboard, just PICTEK didn't shell out the extra 40 cents for the metal faceplate on the HC-Man, and of course altered the aesthetics on the front. But I did not expect these keyboards to be so similar when I ordered them, and it almost made me not make this video altogether, but now I've made it, so there you go. And if you're somehow still around at this point in the video, then why don't you check my Patreon page? It's the top link in the description. Get some cool perks there. But regardless, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all again next time.